was not a question.
Okay. I just try to make sure that I answer all the student questions.
Oh, you
And
mean separate from the VTC conference that we're doing here?
yes.
No, I did not ask any question outside the school.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to share the screen. So this
Ooh.
week we have week 7, multi-party and cross-cultural negotiations. And we're looking at chapter 13 and chapter 16. And that's it we have this week. We don't have any a lot into those 2 PowerPoints. So I would say, please make sure that you, I've already gone over them in video. I would, as you're driving or take a break at lunch or something like that, you might want to click on those videos to see what's going on there. This is week 7. Can you guys believe it? Week 7. So week 7, Murata, you on like 3 times. This is week 7. So I am so excited about this week 7. I hope you guys are too. So I hope you guys are as well. Excited about it. Week 8 and week 8. Can you see me, Murata? Okay, hopefully you can see me.
I can see. I'm using the comm on the phone, but I can see the screen now. That's exactly what I want to see. So I'm really happy. But if you can hear my comm, then that's good too.
Okay. Yes.
So I'm on 2 different. You see my name twice because I'm on 2 different devices.
That's okay. I'm fine with that. It's just the 2 of us, so we should be okay. Women don't negotiate and other similar nonsense.
There's 3 of us here. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Who else do we have there?
This is Raymond Love.
Mr. Love, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have, and week 7 is just the PowerPoints and discussion posts for week 7, but week 8 is the one that starts us preparing for our week 9 activity. And week 8, we're preparing for week 9, which is and so I want to get you guys started on that if you have a chance this week, where we're preparing, doing, really imagining that we've been put in charge of a large team that's negotiating a company merger with 2 other hypothetical multinational companies that have offices located around the globe, and your task is to design a negotiation strategy to deal with the negotiation issues involved with merging these multinational companies. So I think in one of the earlier weeks, we looked up some articles on some things that were going on. And we had a company origin and some cultural aspects. If you didn't do that, in week 8, you will have to introduce and describe 2 chosen companies and where you identify the country of origin and detail the country's cultural aspects that would impact the negotiations. So for example, when we say cultural things about the country of origin, we know that Asia is different than America. We know that North and South are just different. Even in our own country. East and West are different, even in our own country. So when we talk about working with Mexico versus Canada versus working with Asia, you get a little more complicated. Saudi Arabia, you get a little more complicated too. But I think Asia is the most complex for us. I think we even understand working with Russia, even though we don't agree. But I think we understand working with them. But Asia is a different story. And so that's our focus for week 8 and 9. Let's see, in week 10, we're just going to talk about third party. And we have another test in the class in week 11. And that's going to take us in. We have our final, which is it's worth 25 points, and that will take us in. And see, you almost through. Isn't that amazing that you guys are almost through?
Your test is very scary.
I
I still remember. I still have.
You know what? They're only worth 25 points, guys.
I use every minute. So I'm at the last question. I already checked the answer, and I'm just sitting there debating. This is like the last second. Now, because I'm doing this from an iPad, it doesn't give me the timer. That's what somebody told me. There's actually a timer. And so you don't see it.
2 hours, I think it is.
Yeah. So if you do it on the desktop, you can see the timer. But then, but because I do it from the portable device, I don't see it. So I just see the question, and I'm down to the very last question. I'm sitting there, and it expired. But I got it right. So for that particular, I think I got it right. But I hope I got it right. But I got 80s. But I use every single one of them because I struggle how to answer that. Every one of those questions. I don't want to take it. There's at least maybe 20 questions that was easy, like was given, like, oh, this got it. But then there's probably maybe another 20 questions. So out of the 50 question, another 20 question, I was like, okay, I just do deduction or multiple choices. And then there's 10 questions. I just kind of like, I have no idea. But
you made an 80 on it?
It was like, I knew the answer. Like if you asked me verbally, I would get it right. But it was just the way that how you have to answer that question.
Yeah. Well,
I probably can get it all right. If I do an oral exam, I probably get 50 out of 50. But however, when you look at the questions, like, even true or false, but it's really a false, but so I mean, you have to know the truth. We're like, what the heck?
So you have to listen to yourself.
Yes. Yeah, that is good. That's a good point. I should make a YouTube video how to take tests like that.
Yeah, you have to listen to yourself.
You have to read out loud and listen to it.
Exactly. Especially if you're in a room by yourself, you just read it out loud, and you're like, wait a minute now, something don't sound right about that. And you can always use your phone. You read the question out loud to yourself and play it back on your phone, and then you can go that way. There's all kind of ways to take work from home.
Yeah, I am not doing that on the phone. If I have to pay hundreds of dollars for a computer somewhere and a hotel somewhere, I will do it. I'm not taking them.
No. I'm saying what you do is record yourself on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
You just hit record and you ask yourself the question, and then you hit play and see how it sounds to you. Since you are an auditory learner.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that you allowed us to take it more than once, because my computer actually just shut off on me in the middle of the exam. I lost like maybe about 15 minutes. So like the last 6 questions, I ran out of time. So I just immediately started the test over again.
Right.
I'm actually sorry about the ambulance. I'm driving. If you can believe, it's a snowstorm in Southern California right now. So
what?
Yes, it is. It's a straight snowstorm here, and I'm just driving in. I told you I was out of town, and probably would have been home by now.
Wait. It's a snowstorm in Southern California.
Yes. My wife's in the car with me while we're listening. So yeah, but it's definitely it's a serious snowstorm out here right now.
Well, we know you guys don't know how to deal with that.
Well, I was born and raised in Jersey, so I get it.
I'm from Wisconsin.
But yeah, you all know. But your equipment on your car is not prepared for that.
No, that's 100% true.
Wow, I'm sorry you guys are going through that.
It's all right. We're almost home now. I'm about 5 minutes away from the house right now. So.
Well, listen, after all that great, spectacular things going on in LA for the Super Bowl and all of that, that should have been some grand things. So the snow had to run them out. The cold weather has to run them up out of there.
They got out of here, I'm sure. Well, we didn't even realize we drove in through Vegas, and my daughter texted, said it was snowing at home. We're looking at each other like, wow, it was bright and sunny where we were, but
That is
now we're in the midst of
amazing.
it.
And if people don't believe that there is something going on with our environment, they better think again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I live in the high desert of Southern California, so we get really cold weather. It'll snow up here like, a couple times a year. Yeah, it'll snow a couple times a year, but not a whole lot. If it does, it's usually real quick and stops. But this has been going for a while, so we're just but we're, like I said, we're almost home, so
Well, good.
happy
Well,
about
safe
that.
travels. Safe travels, guys.
Thank
So,
you.
any questions so far? We've passed midterm, guys. Like I said, this is week 7, and I just did the countdown. You have one more writing assignment, as well as one test left. So,
Can you go over the writing assignment? So
yes.
the lady who's with us, I apologize, I don't know your name because I always say it's iPhone. I want to say thank you from last week because you asked a question on the writing assignment. The problem was I couldn't see what she was showing, but I took notes and I pay attention because your question, it helped out the writing assignment. It make easier. I think students should ask these questions more. Like, what do you want in writing assignment? Sometimes I feel embarrassed to ask too. Because what happened, when you asked that question, it kind of make the writing assignments a lot easier because otherwise, just like one guy, you spend a lot of time doing research and you're really researching for the wrong thing, and so with the proper direction and guidance, you can just jump right in and write, so you actually save more time.
I totally agree. And that's why we have these calls every week to make it seem like you're in a classroom. But I don't know which questions you guys have. And I told my other classes this yesterday and today. I don't know which questions you guys have. So it's best that the students ask them, because if one student asks, more than likely other students have that same question. So your next assignment is, like I said, comes up in week 8.
Week 8, yep.
Mm-hmm. And I have that on the monitor. Week 8, you're to write a 1 to 2 page paper in which you introduce and describe 2 chosen companies. You identify their country of origin, and you detail each country's cultural aspects that will impact the negotiations. So some of the things that could impact the negotiations are morals, values, customs, and communication style. Like I was saying, say somebody give me an example. Tell me where you would like to do business. Give me 2 countries.
Let's say Japan. All right, just
Japan, and that's in Asia, right?
Definitely.
And where?
Definitely China.
China and Japan.
oh,
Let's see what company. That's China. China. You can still see my monitor, right?
yep, can see it.
You see the China thing, right?
Yes,
I just typed in
yes, we
China.
can see it.
I want to get some ideas of what's going on. Just top of hand, Here's some interesting things right here. If I want to talk about China, New England to lower barriers to Chinese investment under upgrade. What the heck is going on between China and New Zealand? So what company is in New Zealand? What are they talking about here? I'm just doing discovery right now. If I don't know. Companies out of New Zealand, who are they? What are they talking about? Tensions in the US. You know a company in China? Anybody?
No, except the telephone company, Zhongmi or whatever we call it, telephone company.
Somebody we work with in China. Who do we work with? Who does because you got to know a company so you can know how to phrase
Yeah.
it.
I have to Google the name of the Chinese telephone company. They're pretty big. The other one is Albany, or whatever we call it. It's like their Amazon equivalent.
Alphabet.
No, Alphabet is Google. Chinese phone company. Let me give you a second. Phone
Chinese.
company. Give me a second. I'm searching. It's Oppo. They're like your equivalent to your iPhone equivalent. Yeah, or HUAWEI. Yep, that's their Apple equivalency to us or to Samsung.
Mm-hmm.
That I know.
We sell those phones over here, or in maybe they're sold in New Zealand.
It's sold mostly in Asia, so New Zealand, Australia, like in the Pacific.
Okay, so if I was going to write about them, I would look up this company.
Yeah.
China Telecom Company, and I see some things about it. So what does it do? Licensed private cross-border connectivity for offices, data centers, and cloud providers. Enable digital business with custom end-to-end connectivity and ICT services in China. Okay. So we remember that name. I need to remember that name. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to copy this for a minute. And then I'm going to go into Blackboard.
Blackboard, wow.
And I'm going to go over here to the library. And I'm going to come down here and I want, I could do business, but I'm just going to stick with online research for a minute, portal. I'm going to type that in. That's the company. And I'm going to do SWOT. Type in SWOT. In a minute here. I got to come back. I'm going to type in SWOT. SWOT. Come on. Stop sending me all over the place. You know what a SWOT analysis is, right?
Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat analysis.
There you go. And so here's this company's holding company SWOT analysis as of 12/6/2021. I'm gonna pull that up.
That's how you analyze the company's competitive position to your company or to your business.
Exactly. So once I know who I want to look at, then I can go here.
Oh, wow.
And I see all of this. Investment holding company information. I don't care about the phone number. But here's just growth in revenue, focus on innovation, concentrated operations, threats, intense competition, foreign exchange, currency risk, technology challenges. They have opportunity to focus on 5G services, cloud computing, marketing, and contracts and agreements. Contracts and agreements. That signals to me there's some opportunity here. Under opportunities, contracts and agreements. So I can talk about contracts and agreements. Now, what was the other company you talked to me about?
The other one is one of.
So they were doing New Zealand. Let me see what they say here. Operates in several countries. The company reports financials in the Chinese renminbi and its revenue exposed with the volatility of Chinese against Brazil, Mexican, Swedish, in the US dollars. So do I want them against US and negotiating with them. Who do I want to do business with? Swedish, Mexican, Brazil.
Let's say Mexico.
Mexico. Okay. So Mexico. So we look up some things on Mexico. So we know about this company. We know what they're good at, right? Because we're going to have this saved somewhere, right?
Yep.
So then we're going to go to another thing and open it up at the top here and talk about Mexico. Actually, I want to go back to this. I'm sorry. I'm going to go to Blackboard again. Yes, I open up several Blackboards at one time. I don't know if you guys can do that, but I do. Because I gotta look. I'm a researcher. I have to look. So this time I am going to go down here under research. Are y'all following me? Am I going too fast?
No, I'm following. I'm actually clicking along.
I'm following.
Okay, Mexican culture. Sorry about the noise. Mexico. Okay. I just want to know some cultural things right quick. See if that's going to get me that page. Now I'm going to have to go back. So I go back. And I'm going to come down. I don't want to read a book. I don't want visual culture. I don't want sound culture. I want, I don't like anything that's there. So I'm going to doing business.
Oh, maybe Mexican culture and negotiation.
There you go. Cultural and contract negotiations. Okay. I don't want to go way back. This goes to 1968. So I come down here and I'm going to say, I'm going to go from 2019 because things have changed drastically lately. Nobody does anything the same. Here you go. Here's one that looks interesting. Formal international contracts in the presence of cultural distance and empirical analysis of biopharmaceutical alliances. I don't care about the pharmaceuticals. I just want them to talk about some culture stuff for me. So I'm gonna pull this up and see what happens. So let's see what it's saying here. Okay, formal contracts are designed to manage the moral hazard issues and inherited risks that come with relationships between organizations. I like that sentence. I like it so much. I think that it's a great opening for a paper, somewhere down in the middle of the first paragraph. These contracts play an important role in non-equity international alliances, where the greater cultural distance between the partners give rise to more uncertainty in the relationship. At the same time, the contract is the outcome of a negotiation process, and this process is affected by cultural distance between partners. I like all of that. But I can't use all of that because I'd be plagiarizing. But for right now, I'm gonna have to copy this because I like it, if it'll let me copy it. Sometimes it won't let you copy it. No, it won't. So this particular case, I pick up my phone. I go to notes. And I actually record this. If you all didn't know y'all were gonna get a lesson like this tonight, did you? Formal contracts are designed to manage the moral hazards, issues, and inherited risks that come with relationships between organizations, period. These contracts play an important role in non-equity international alliances, comma, where greater cultural distance between the partners give rise to more uncertainty in the relationship, period. At the same time, comma, the contract is the outcome of a negotiation process, comma, and this process is affected by the cultural distance between the partners, period. Okay, that's all I want from that right now. Now, I'm going down in the paper and I want to look for this here, theoretical background. The theoretical background is the things that they're going to talk about. I'm going to find more things on culture in these particular areas in the theoretical background. I don't care about all the other things. I'm just looking for why contracts can be complex and what's the risk of doing business with somebody in Mexico. That's what I'm looking for. And I don't see that here, but I did find something else. Let's see, I'm still looking. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, governance. Example of contractual provisions is listed here. I don't know if you can see this on my monitor. Did I lose you guys?
Nope, I can see it.
Okay.
No,
It's
I'm
just
still
the
here.
only thing though is your mouse, because I'm using two devices, does not match. But that's okay. That's my problem, not yours.
Okay, so you see how it talks about meetings and all of that. Each collaboration may convene to hold project teams within 30 days, the effective date the parties create joint projects and all that. Alliance managers, scope of collaboration. You see those things that it talks about? These
Yes.
this is important because with this, we can see, I know how they do business. This is what they expect. And just in general overview, you don't want, a lot of this would be too much, too cumbersome to put into a paper. I don't need to talk to that person, I'm sorry. But I was looking for something on culture, more specific on culture, that would get to the point. And here we go, some cultural things here. And these are things that break down some of the other things that were at the top on culture. So in here, I can see experience is the percentage of governance and experience, the scope of collaboration, monitoring, enforcement. So it talks about each stage: general experience, development stage, amnesty, cultural and distance index, those things. Partner, all of that. That may be a little too complex. So I would leave that alone, but I do like the first paragraph because I think it could make for a way to start an interesting introduction to your paper. So now I'm going to go to Hofstede's, because Hofstede's, I know that Hofstede's gives me a breakdown, and it should be in your text, on Hofstede's cultural differences. So Hofstede's. I think I know how to spell it. Hofstede, cultural dimensions. So whenever you want to think about culture, whether you work, where you work, and even if you have different people in your organization that's from different backgrounds and cultures, you can go to Hofstede. And Hofstede gives you the lowdown on how different cultures work together based on the research they've done. Let's see. Stay with me now. Don't, because I'm just trying to research first.
No, this is perfect because you give me an opportunity how to look for other things. So I'm here. I'm also bringing in stuff from from my car, so I'm listening.
Okay. Well, we're glad you made it home. This is good. Cultural dimensions with language learning and behavior and learning styles. Cultural dimensions model has been selected for the study, and I want to see the 4 dimensions of cultural aspects. So it doesn't run that down for me. It wants me to pull up the paper, and the school is saying, no, we're not going to pull up this paper. So, but I do want to know cultural dimensions. So what are the cultural dimensions? So I'm still looking. So let's go here. Cultural dimensions. Now we can type in Mexico. So it takes a little while. That's why they started with, let's start with the paper in week 8. You're setting out what 2 countries you're going to do business with. I need this to be in English. Let's see if there's another section down here in English. I tell you, you gave me a hard one.
I found an article, Hofstede 5th dimension, Mexico compare with USA, but we're trying to compare with China. Is that what we're doing? Or we? Oh,
yeah, that's what you said. You wanted. Here's something, China.
Oh no, I want something simple.
You asked for it, mister, so I was gonna give it to you.
Oh yeah.
Customer service and hostile cultural dimensions in China, Ireland, Mexico, and the US. All right, here's a big one. So let's see what we have here. It's only 6 pages. So let's see what it says about Mexico. Mexico and Ireland are both seen as countries that have a culture that is more relaxed and easygoing. When you think of the 2 countries and their cultural traits, a few similarities would immediately pop up. Hofstede 6D model, both countries are nearly identical when it comes to masculinity is high, low term orientation is low. Both countries' societies believe that the past successes and triumphs are very important, that the societies are highly competitive, as well as that it is more important to stick close to tradition and older beliefs as opposed to the unknown. Although these societies see eye to eye in their dimensions, they are very, very much apart when it comes to power, distance, individualisms, and uncertainty avoidance. So we don't really care about Ireland. Here we care about Mexico. Now, if you want to do a paper, that may give you some people on the call or that's listening to the video, maybe I'll do something with Mexico and Ireland, and that's a paper right there I can use to do this. So we want China and Mexico. Here you go. Using Hofstede 6D model includes looking at all 6 categories and how employees and management of both countries handle certain topics. Power, distance, and masculinities are 2 things that China and Mexico are very similar. So they're very similar on power and masculinity, meaning that male dominance trait. It may be hard to do business with them as a woman. Power distance in both of these countries were very high, which relates to a higher management being reviewed as and not reverence and not questions. So they look at power as important. They're not going to question power like we do here in the US. All right. This translates into a corrupt upper management system. Mexico scored higher than China in relations to individualism that can be reflected in both workforces itself. China is extremely focused on long-term orientation, while Mexico focuses on indulgences. Overall, Mexico is modeled as a country that enjoys the finer things in life while keeping great power distance. China is a country that focuses on long-term goals and tend to have a workforce that respects a large power distance and celebrates a non-individualism. Wow, this says a lot. This one paragraph here says a lot about China and Mexico. Now, I wouldn't use word from word of what they're saying. I would probably get me a little Excel. I'll put up an Excel or something else, and I'd say this about China, this about Mexico. So both are power and power, distance, and masculinity. So they both have that. I put power, distance, and masculinity. I put China, Mexico. So I put both of those under them. This and check mark. That's their strengths. All right. That's what they look for if in a relationship. This translates into corrupt, but we don't care about that. China in relation to individualisms can be reflected in both workforces itself, Mexico and China. So individualism, both pretty high. Now, China is focused on long-term orientation or relationships building, while Mexico focuses on indulgence. One is a party, one's want to, hey, let's have a party with this. And China's like, we get to that later on. We can have that party. But right now, we got to build a relationship. We got to see what's going on. We got to dive into the details. I need to get to know you a little bit better because I really want a long-term relationship. I'm not going into this thing like an overnight date, quickie, and I'm through with you. You know, let's have some drinks and let's move on. I'm not the 21st century type gal. I'm the more of the date me 19th century woman. China is a country, okay, long-term goals and tend to have a workforce that respects large power distance, celebrates non-individualism. So I want to write that, non-individualism, distance and power, all of that. China seems to be more agreeable consciousness and more stressed. This reflects into Mexico's workforce with a more vibrant workforce that places value on break, while China workforce is less individualized and works together very monotonously. So one is, I'm one as a group, where the others, Mexico is like, yeah, I'm working, but I think Mexicans work together extremely well to me. The customer service, so that was something new I didn't know. With these two analyses, customer service in Mexico tends to be less reliable with more emphasis on personal relationships with a high power distance. So in China, they don't care about your personal relationships. Everything is centered around what's the goal. Whereas in Mexico, if I'm working with you, in Mexican culture, we're working with friendships, relationships. And that's the same thing probably when they're working in America. We work with friendships and relationships. China, on the other hand, produces highly efficient customer service that is backed by a uniform system and a management system to watch over the employees. So they go back in the day. So did you get a feel for the two countries based on that?
Yeah, definitely. I would have thought Mexico would have been more collectivism. And if I heard you right, I said they were low on that, right?
I think they're more friendship based.
Right.
Yeah. And it depends on how you look at collectivism, I think. But that in itself said a lot about Mexico and China, if I was doing those two countries working together. And so if I was writing a paper and I was trying to bring two companies together, the phone company, and I was trying to get them to go into from China and get them to go into Mexico. I would have to talk about building that relationship earlier rather than expecting it to be a long time versus right away. The big pitfalls in a relationship between China and Mexico is that they're very headstrong on power. So you have to go into those negotiations with knowing that the people at the top are the power people, and I must have both of them at the top in order to discuss something, because that's where the team is going to look to, the power at the top of both organizations, or wherever it happens to be going on. If I'm trying to bring something into Mexico, power is very important. It sounds like in Mexico, since there's a lot of corruption that may be going on because of that power, I may need to pay somebody under the table to get in there if I'm in China and I'm thinking about doing business with them. There may be some pay under the table as we go. Got it?
Yes.
So I'm doing this, and and I would have to say, as far as my negotiations, is I have to know first. I'd have to set the stage. I'm sorry, on these things about each country, and then I know, and then I also have to set the stage on the two companies that will be working together. So I would find a company in Mexico that's a phone company as well if I was doing this. And their weakness may be that they don't have the best technology, but they want to work with this company to get the things that they need so that they can have phone service and get it at a better rate for the people in their country. Not that they were concerned, not that any of these companies are concerned about people in the country. They're more so concerned about the power at the top and how many more people was going to buy that. So is that, I mean, I know I kind of went around the mulberry bush to make this happen, but I'm working on, give me instantaneous information and I'll help you find a solution for it. Was this helpful?
Yeah, most definitely for me. It was very helpful. I actually a couple classes ago had the cultural and we dealt a lot with Hofstede's models and stuff like that. So what you just went through was real helpful for me, because it will definitely. I actually did a couple of countries in depth, so I'll probably go in that direction since I know about them already, and then kind of use it that way. But what you did was very helpful, because it basically we're comparing and contrasting the two companies and then seeing how their differences, cultural differences, and how we need to prepare for, if we're going to negotiate with them, right? So,
right.
Yeah, very, very helpful. And especially when you're going through it like you are and searching for the doing the research.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Murata, what about you? Is this helpful?
It is. No, I always appreciate this. It help out a lot.
Okay, and is that Bonnie on the phone, or who's on the phone? Who else is on the phone? Who's on the iPhone? Or did we lose? Oh, that was okay. Murata, you're up twice. Okay, I see. You still
I'm on an iPhone too, so I don't know if it says my name. If you see my name on there,
no, it doesn't. It says
okay.
I have. Okay, the young lady must have jumped off the. She must got confused. But for those of you that's not on, if you're confused about this, once I send it out, I'm going to also attach the paper that I had. The reason I did that paragraph was it gives, for me as a writer, it gives me some thought around how I want to position my opening statements. And even though I won't use their exact words, I needed to know that to kind of play it in my head. And it's like I'm talking out loud to myself, to come back to the table and say, wow, this is probably how I would say this then in my own words. And so it's just a way to give me some introduction to it. I have to restate it because I want everything to be about how Marilyn would position it in her paper, because I don't want to get the high plagiarism count or anything like that. And in papers like this, they're notorious for getting that. And so I have to send a lot of people to the office per se. But I don't want to do that. We did good. We've done great so far in our papers in this class. And I want that to continue. And so I do think that the conversations that we have in Coffee and Conversations are helping people to really look at how to write their papers in a better way. So again, I'm going to attach the paper that we just looked at for the 2 countries. Hopefully that will give you some idea. Watch the video. I mean, watch it again if you need to, more than once, if you need to get some ideas. This first 2-page paper is due in week 8. And then in week 9, you're going to take that paper and you're going to expand it into answering the questions we have to answer in week 9. So instead of me going to week 9, I'm going to say, I'm going to cut it off there for 1 and 2. The first page, papers 1 and 2. We'll dive deeper into the rest of that for week 9 next week. And what we'll do is I'll come to the table saying, I'm going to keep those same two countries, and I'm going to take that a little bit further and say how I would, now that I have some time, I would say how I would write that introduction on those first 2 pages. And then I go into talking to you all about how I would position the rest of the paper for week 9. Does that work? I don't want to overbear you with too much information at one time. Does that work? Are you okay?
Sounds good to me.
I'm good.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys jumping on the call tonight. And again, it works so much better when we have somebody who stands up and asks the questions. So I will see you guys on the call next week. And I'll be prepared to tell you how I would do pages 1 and 2 of that opening. Please go ahead and work on it if you have the time and opportunity to. As well, we can compare notes next week. All right. Have a wonderful
Great. Thank
evening, guys.
you.
We'll see you next week on the next call.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, see you later.